Hello and welcome to another video. This time we're in Belgrade and I wanted to show you some of the free attractions to definitely make sure are on your itinerary when planning a visit here.
We're starting from this slightly controversial spot. It looked very different a few years ago. This yellow building was Belgrade's central railway station, and there used to be lots of traffic here, as you can imagine. Taxis dropping and picking up train passengers, public buses, trams, etc. But then it was reconstructed into this square, and the additional controversy was about this sculpture. Now, no one really opposes the person who is obviously celebrated here in such a larger than life fashion, but rather the government's secrecy behind its cost. Anyway, a bit about the monument and the man in the monument. It's a sculpture of Stefan Nemanja, the founder of Nemanjić dynasty, which ruled Serbia for around 2 centuries. His son, Sava, essentially founded the Serbian Orthodox Church, and the Saint Sava Temple is named after that guy. And the street that almost connects this monument and the temple is also named after Stefan Nemanja. It's the Nemanja Street. The monument was sculpted by a Russian artist slash architect, and in my opinion, it has many interesting and beautiful details. The park surrounding it is a nice spot to get some rest if you're passing by, but not on a sunny day as there's very little shade here. Next up, we're going to Ada Ciganlija. It's a lake. It is artificial, but nonetheless beautiful. Ada is actually the island on the Sava River, and then they kind of built these dams on both ends of the island, which is how it became a lake. Growing up in Belgrade after Yugoslavia fell apart and Serbia was left without access to sea, we called Ada our own version of the sea. It has beaches, parks, a bike lane, cafes and restaurants, tons of water activities, and lots of kids' play areas as well. Towards the river, there's plenty of sports courts such as basketball, football, paddle, and my favorite, golf. The beaches, by the way, there's plenty of empty space where you can just bring your own towel, sunbed, parasol, whatever you prefer. And then there's also private bars and beach clubs where you can rent all the sunbathing / beach equipment. Some parts have natural shade too. However, those are usually taken pretty early in the morning during the season. This here is an interesting physics demonstration showing the Archimedes lever principle, which shows how it gets easier and easier to lift an object the farther you are from it using a lever. Unfortunately, at the time of me filming this, the lever was broken, so I'm hoping they fix it soon. Before it was broken, I actually did manage to lift the Yugo on my own. However, that was before everyone had a camera on them, so I don't really have evidence for that. Right across the lake, there's a mall offering gorgeous views over the area. And because it's a mall, it's smoke-free, unlike the restaurants and cafes at the lake. So I always have my food and drinks there, which I recommend to you as well if you are a civilized person who doesn't want to stink after a meal, not to mention breathe smoke while eating. The name of the mall is Ada Mall, and there's a pedestrian bridge to access it coming from the lake. Next up on our list of free places to visit in Belgrade is the St. Mark's Church. It's very centrally located right next to the National Assembly. And before we go inside, I want to show you the park nearby called Tashmaidan Park. For whatever reason, I didn't film it much here, but it's a gorgeous park and definitely worth a visit. The landscaping is really nice. There's a few interesting monuments, ice cream and popcorn shops, some kids' playgrounds, and a few cafes surrounding it. However, the main and the most beautiful part of it is the St. Mark's Church, which is a blend of Byzantine and Serbian medieval style. Its construction began, well, almost 100 years ago in 1931, and it was completed in 1940. What's really interesting about it is actually on the inside, as it somewhat differs from other Serbian churches with its lack of frescoes or mosaics covering the walls. Another curiosity are the many crypts you will find inside, the major one being the tomb of the only Serbian Tsar, King Stefan Dusan. Then there's the tomb of King Alexander Obrenović, who was assassinated along with Queen Draga in 1903. Patriarch German's tomb with an endearing message carved in it saying, "I am sleeping, but my heart is awake," and a few more. Next, we're headed to Kalemegdan, but before that, a quick coffee break at the legendary Hotel Moskva, which is conveniently on our way there. As can be seen here, it's a charming cafe at the ground floor of the hotel. There's a restaurant called Tchaikovsky with similar vibes where you can have actual food, whereas in the cafe, it's mostly cake and, sandwiches and lovely classical music. And we've made it to Kalemegdan. I published a video recently focused solely on Kalemegdan, showing some of the hidden gems and talking about its history. And someone commented to correct what I said in that video. So this time I know to say that Kalemegdan is the park, and inside it is the Belgrade fortress, not the other way around. Anyway, Kalemegdan made the list, first of all, because it's on this beautiful hill above the confluence of Serbia's largest two rivers, Danube and Sava, but also because it's free compared to many similar spots that I visited in Europe where you need to purchase a ticket, at least for parts of the fortress or similar parks. But anyway, Kalemegdan features a fortress, many monuments, amazing views and photo spots, an outdoors art gallery, churches, a zoo, a few museums and souvenir shops, and even some sports courts. It's located at the end of the pedestrian street, Knez Mihailova, where you are bound to end up at some point during your visit to Belgrade. So it's also easy to access. It's a must, if you ask me. Now, this is Zemun, and the tower that you see here is called Gardoš Tower. It sits on top of a hill overlooking both the neighboring area and the river. The river is Danube, by the way. So the tower itself was closed at the time I visited It is paid entrance, but really, really cheap. However, all it offers is a slightly better view than what you're about to see in the video here, and some brochures telling you about its history. It was actually built by Hungarians in 1896. That's 1896, so a long time ago. It was one of the 7 monuments over the Hungarian part of the Austro-Hungary, and this one is the southernmost, and others were in today's Romania, Slovakia, Ukraine, and there's a few in Hungary as well. It was damaged and renovated multiple times. It was damaged in wars, in fires, and it was even inhabited by the homeless at some point. However, today it is a nice spot to come to and enjoy the view of the city, as well as the road up there and down the cobblestone streets filled with cute houses. Now, the area next to the tower is not too interesting. I actually attended a high school nearby, and that's how I know. The yellow church you will surely notice behind is attached to a cemetery. I'm not sure if it's like a cemetery chapel, but it's not a tourist thing either way. I mean, it won't hurt to stroll around, but you've been warned. The cobblestone streets lead all the way down to the river promenade, where there's lots of cafes and restaurants, a park. There's a spot where you will often find swans, smaller boats, fishermen, and the locals reading newspapers, elders playing chess, kids riding their little bicycles, or shoppers coming back from the nearby fresh market. Next up, we're crossing the river once more and driving uphill to Košutnjak. Essentially, it's this big forest where you'll only want to come for this, the view. It's locally known as the ski slope because we used to ski here. There was a small ski lift, which, as you can tell, is no more. Anyway, I love coming here in the morning or the evening for a walk, fresh orange juice, or just coffee with a view. In the winter, they make hot chocolate, and there's a fireplace inside, which makes it super cozy. I wish I could find the pictures of me sitting next to the fireplace, and then there's snow outside. It's really like a fairy tale. There's a few tennis courts in this area. There's a public pool nearby. There's horseback riding, as well as this soft jogging track and free outdoors exercise equipment next to the jogging track. If you don't want to skip your workouts while traveling, then this is going to be your favorite. Last but not least is the St. Sava Temple. I recorded and published a full video discussing all the details about it, but here it's only the highlights. It's one of the largest Orthodox churches in the world, beautiful both on the inside and the outside. It's decorated with gold mosaics and larger than life frescoes, chandeliers, and the underground crypt filled with marble floors and imagery from Serbian history on the walls. We started this video with the monument to Saint Sava's father in front of the old railway station, and we ended here inside a place built to honor the son, a very important figure in Serbia's both history and future. The official shops sell religious items, and you can tell I filmed this around Easter, hence the painted eggs. However, if you'd like some souvenirs, they're available right outside. At the very end, it's been a long day and I'm hungry, so I stopped to eat some cevapi in another non smoking little restaurant. I'm happy to recommend, so you will find their Google Maps pin in the description of this video. Thank you for watching and see you soon in another one.